Have you ever wondered whether financial freedom is really possible? And if so, how to get there and where to start? In this video, I'm going to walk you through a simple step-by-step plan you can start today to reach financial independence. Let's get started. These days, there's no shortage of advice about saving, investing, and financial planning, from countless YouTube videos to quick social media clips. But often, instead of clarity, they leave people more confused and sometimes push them toward strange financial decisions. Here's an example. One day, while setting up my slides before class, I overheard two of my students talking. One of them said, "I'll never buy Bitcoin again. I've lost so much money. From now on, I'm keeping everything in my checking account." The other replied, "What are you talking about? I've made a lot of money. I put all my money into Bitcoin." That conversation got me thinking. It made me realize that most people either gamble with their money or hide it away in checking accounts. Neither path will get you to financial freedom. And at the end of this video, I will tell you exactly what my students decided to do after they learned this strategy. Now, let's dive in. We developed this workshop with Professor Michael Petrono and other colleagues at Bagwell Center's FLIP. FLIP stands for Financial Literacy Improvement Project. Let me share a few more things that motivated us to organize this workshop. Based on recent studies, financial literacy among Gen Z is critically low, even lower than Gen X and Gen Y. And we know from research that a lack of financial knowledge often leads to personal economic instability and poor investment decisions. At the same time, study after study has shown that financial education improves financial behavior and outcomes. We also know that participating in the stock market can play an important role in reducing wealth inequality. By investing, you're able to share the growth of companies instead of being left out of it. And nowadays, fintech advancements have made investing so much easier and more accessible. You can open a brokerage account on your computer or even your phone and begin investing with just a few clicks. Before we look at our financial model, I want to show you a graph to see how important starting early is. Suppose you start saving and investing at the age of 20, beginning with $1,000 and contributing $136 every month. If you invest this money in the S&P 500, that's the biggest 500 companies in the US, and we use the actual returns of the S&P 500 over the past 50 years, from 1975 to 2025, your money could grow up to $3 million by age 65. Now, this is not adjusted for inflation. We'll handle that later in our model. But the dollar amounts tell the story clearly. If instead you wait until 40 to start investing with the same $1,000 at the beginning and the same $136 per month, you will end up with only $300,000. By starting just 20 years earlier, meaning investing for 45 years rather than 25, you could end up with 10 times as much. That is $3 million versus only $300,000. That is the effect of time and compound interest. And that is why I want to motivate all of you to start saving and investing as early as possible. Now, let's see how our model works. This is a very simplified method supported by many personal finance books, which emphasize dollar cost averaging and the power of setting up an automated system. In this approach, we commit to investing a fixed amount every single month. Here's an example. A fixed amount of money is automatically withdrawn from my checking account and transferred to my brokerage account. From there, it goes into my Roth IRA and is invested in the S&P 500. Keep in mind that your money grows tax-free in a Roth IRA account. This process may sound a little complicated, but in practice, it's very easy to set up with any brokerage. As we saw earlier, just investing $136 each month could grow into $3 million. Now, the plan we're discussing is customizable. You may not be 20. You may not be able to start right away. That's okay. Maybe you begin at 22 when you land your first full-time job. The important point is that you can adjust the plan to your circumstances. Let me show you how this model works step by step. The first step is to determine how much money you will need in retirement. In this example, I estimate about $17,000 per month to cover my living expenses. And I want to have $500,000, that's $500,000, left in my account at age 90. If I don't live past that age, the $500,000 can go to charity, help students pay their tuition, or be left for my loved ones. The second step is to calculate the total amount needed at age 65 to sustain those withdrawals of $17,000 each month from age 65 to 90, while still leaving $500,000 at the end. This gives us a clear target balance at retirement. So now that we know our target, we calculate how much to save and invest starting today to reach it. Let's explore this in Excel, and then we'll return to the slides. Here's our model. It assumes you're 20 years old, retiring at 65, and living until 90. It also assumes you want to have $500,000 remaining at age 90. All you need to do is to update the yellow highlighted cells with your own information, and the rest of the model will update automatically. Now, remember, retirement age doesn't necessarily mean stopping work. It means reaching financial freedom, the point where you can step away from a job you dislike and have the freedom to do what you truly enjoy. Many people reach financial independence in their 50s or 60s, take some time off, travel, and then start their own business or passion projects. Having financial security allows them to take those bold steps. Now, let's walk through the 3 steps in more detail. Step 1 is deciding how much money you will need each month in retirement. That's your baseline number. Think about expenses like healthcare, which is a big one, and one of my colleagues recently wrote a paper on that and is featured on FLIP website. FLIP, again, stands for Financial Literacy Improvement Project. This is on Bagwell Center's website. So other than healthcare, we need to think of housing, daily living costs, and travels, and anything else you might have in mind. Then subtract expected income from Social Security, pension, 401k, or any other sources. In this example, I've set it at $3,000 in today's dollar, assuming major debts like a mortgage and car loan are already paid off. You can adjust this number for your lifestyle, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And of course, increasing it will raise your target savings. Next, we project inflation. The average rate over the past 50 years has been 3.9%. So we'll use that as our baseline. Again, you can adjust it based on your outlook. With those inputs, the model shows that $3,000 today will have the same purchasing power as $16,781 40 years from now. That's the impact of inflation on your future expenses. Now we've completed step 1. Step 2 is calculating how much you will need saved by age 65. If you want to withdraw $16,781 each month from 65 to 90, while leaving $500,000 at the end, the model shows you will need around $3 million at retirement. Notice that when you reach retirement, your money won't be sitting in a checking account. It will remain invested, but typically in a more conservative mix, perhaps 60% stocks and 40% bonds. In this example, we assume a 5% rate adjusted for inflation. Again, you can adjust that number to match your risk tolerance. Now, step 3 is calculating how much you save and invest each month to reach the $3 million target. Using the average annual return of the S&P 500 over the past 50 years, that's 11.89%, we find that starting at age 20 with $1,000 and contributing $136 each month will get you there. If you think you might earn a higher or lower rate, of course, you can change the interest rate. In Excel, we use the payment function to calculate this monthly contribution. The result in this example is $136. In another video, I will explain how to use financial functions in Excel. Anyway, based on our model, if you start at age 20 with $1,000 and invest $136 per month, you can grow your wealth to $3 million by age 65, providing for your retirement expenses and leaving a legacy. Let's look at the graph again. You'll see the growth curve from $1,000 today building to $3 million by retirement, and then gradually declining as you withdraw funds, ending with $500,000 at age 90. Now, let's experiment with the numbers. If you change your current age to 19, the monthly investment drops to $125. If you start with a zero instead of $1,000, you'll need to contribute more each month. Try adjusting the yellow cells yourself, like retirement age, starting balance, monthly expenses, and see how the results change. Notice especially that if you want to retire earlier, your monthly contributions must increase. The point is to start. If you can't begin with the full target amount, start with whatever you can, maybe $50 a month, and increase it over time. The most difficult part is taking the first step. Once you set up an automated system, the habit takes care of itself. Now, let's return to the slides. When you have a clear saving target, it naturally leads to a monthly budget. And remember, budgeting is not about restriction, it's about control. It's about knowing where your money is going and aligning it with your goals. I want each of you to feel fully in control of your finances. Even saving as little as $1 a day by skipping a coffee or eating out less can add up and make a significant difference. In another video, I'll show you how to build a practical savings plan that prepares you for two major milestones: buying your first car and purchasing your first home. And those students that I mentioned at the beginning of this session, like so many others, They took the plan you just saw and began working towards their financial goals. Some even shared it with their parents and friends, helping them improve their finances and set meaningful targets. I want you to remember consistency and patience win in the long run. Investing is a long game. So play it like a champion, not a gambler.
All right, you've now seen the plan. You know how to start saving, investing, and building toward financial freedom. Starting today. Remember, while we may earn more as we get older, the time for compounding is something we can never get back. You either make your money work for you, or you work for money forever. I hope this inspires you to take action toward your financial freedom. Thank you for watching.